What's up, everybody, and welcome back to A Beer a Day with TK. It's Christmas Eve. It is unseasonably warm. I think it's about 54 degrees here right now. It's a bit overcast, but I'm wearing shorts and a short sleeve shirt, and I'm completely comfortable out here in the beer shed. So a bit odd temperature-wise, but I'll take it. It means I can hang out here. All right. This is a bit bittersweet. We're on to the last day of our Kalea Beer Advent Calendar. Now, I will say this. I think me and some of the other beer reviewers that have done this, maybe we've been a little critical of the box. And to be fair, it really isn't bad. If you're a casual drinker and just want to check out a different beer every day from a new brewery, because for the most part, this is stuff you don't see on the shelves, at least where I live in Northwest Ohio, it's completely worth the money. Now, for some of the beer reviewer guys, it got a bit repetitive. We saw a lot of Helles lagers, a lot of similar styles, and we know how rich and diverse the brewing history of Germany is. So it was kind of tough, I think, for us to say, wow, there's so many great styles out there. Why aren't we seeing them? So I will say I think we were probably a bit hypercritical. That being said, there wasn't one beer in this box that I would have dumped. They were all solid, middle-of-the-road brews. So, it was a cool thing, and I appreciate Anderson grabbing this for me. So thanks, my brother. Greatly appreciate it. All right, on to day 24. See what we have. It's the last one. You know what it is by virtue of a elimination, I guess. You can kind of see on the side what's in there. Now, it looks like this is the Kartäuser Doppelbock Dunkel. And this is from Memminger Brauerei in Memmingen, Germany. Now, one thing that was interesting, when you went on to, I think it was Untapped or Beer Advocate, one of the two sites, it said this was contract brewed by Eggerer. Now, Eggerer is that brewery, H. Eggerer, that we've seen throughout this box. One thing I find kind of odd is there are a couple of them that had the name of a brewery on it, but then on the side said Eggerer. So I'm guessing that probably explains the mystery of why you had kind of conflicting info with some of the breweries. I'm guessing that the H. Eggerer brewery contracted out a number of different beers, and that's why they're all in the same exact size can. Because when you go to the websites for most of those German breweries, they're not in cans. I mean, overwhelmingly, they're glass bottles. And when you see the Euro version of this, which my man Greg from Bullman's Beer Reviews was doing, they were bottles. So I'm guessing maybe the cans are just, one, I guess they're probably lighter to ship. Two, they're probably better holding up over those long distances because these are all being shipped from Europe. So maybe the cans travel a little better. I know when I saw Greg, some of the bottles were like different sizes, like those Belgian-shaped ones, and didn't fit out of the holes cleanly. So maybe it's just for uniformity that Eggerer brewed a bunch of these beers they otherwise wouldn't. Now, like I said, for the most part, I can't complain. The beers have been pretty solid. If not super spectacular or exciting, they've all been good. So let's check this one out. Like I said, Doppelbock Dunkel. So it's nice on Christmas Eve to have something other than a Helles. If it was a Helles for the last day, I would have cried. Looks pretty nice so far. Nice kind of caramel color to it. Poured very nicely. So Kartäuser Doppelbock Dunkel says Bavarian beer, 7.5% ABV. I couldn't find the IBUs. Nothing else on the can. Nothing else on the can that really stands out. Color, it's quite clear. You can see through it, even though it's like a brown kind of amber caramel color. But you can see through this. It's not really cloudy. Moderate carbonation. There's a fair amount of bubbles floating around in there. It look pretty large. Color, this thing's kind of pretty here. I would probably say maybe deep amber, maybe like a 15. As far as the head, this is kind of like a khaki colored head. 2 fingers. Looks pretty solid. You kind of see around on the top, it's kind of breaking up into the little island thing, but it looks quite nice. Let's give it a sniff. Before I go in, ratings: Untapped 3.43, Beer Advocate 3.82. Aggregate on Beer Advocate was an 86, very good. So scores fairly well. Let's give it a sniff now. Definitely pick up some toasted grain. Maybe kind of that generic dark fruit kind of smell. A little bit of sweetness. Malty sweetness. That's nice. Has a nice smell to it. And it's, like I said, it's a nice kind of variation from all the Helles and Heffys and stuff we had. Nice to just try some other styles. Let's give it a shot. Prost. Medium body. think the first thing you pick up is kind of like a little bit of a toasted grain. Then you get some caramel malt. You kind of pick up those, what I said before, like the dark fruit thing. To me, it almost tastes like raisins, which is a flavor I kind of like, so I can't complain. Pick up a little bit of that, and then you get a little bit of hoppiness as well. It's not a very strong hop profile, but it does balance out the sweetness of the malt. The one thing I will say about this, the malt isn't overly sweet either. A lot of times with the Doppelbock, sometimes it's a little bit too much sweetness coming through, and it becomes, I don't know, cloyingly sweet for me. This, I think, balances the two fairly well. You have the sweetness from the malt, and again, caramel kind of sweetness, balanced by a tiny little bit of a bitter hop. Neither are really pronounced, but they kind of balance each other nicely, and then you pick up those other flavors as well. So kind of like that nice toasty grain, a little bit of the dark fruits. I saw some of the reviews, people saying they picked up cherry and other things. I'm not really picking that up. For me, it would probably be more like raisin or plum, something along those lines, but not a really strong fruity taste, just kind of like mixed in along the way. All in all, good beer. If I were picking a top 3 or 4, this would probably be up there. I will say this, I think this case ended a lot better than it started. So I think in the last week or so, I've had 3 that have been pretty solid. I had one that was and I think I had one that was in the beginning. But I think it did end on a, kind of a high note here with this one. So, it is what it is. All things considered, for Kartäuser Doppelbock Dunkel from Memminger Brauerei, you would get a thumbs up. I would drink another one of these happily. This is a good beer. If you liked the video, give me a thumbs up, hit that like button. If you want to see more videos like this, please hit subscribe. And as always, you got any comments or questions, jump in down below. Hopefully everybody who had this ended with this beer. If you didn't, let me know what you had. For those that have been watching and those that are always here supporting the channel, greatly appreciate what you do. I enjoy making these videos, but this is kind of a two-way street. If I'm just talking by myself, it's no fun. I need those comments, I need the interaction, whether it be with my fellow beer reviewers or those out there that just enjoy craft beer. It's been a pleasure getting to meet so many people over the last year and a half or so. Wish you all a great Christmas, have a wonderful, prosperous New Year, and I'll see you soon. Cheers.